Hello, my friends, and welcome to this Friday night edition of the Indoctrination. And what better time to be alive than the one we are wading through right now? Wading, WADING, and WAITING, as we wait for serious arrests, serious consequences for the treason that we have been witness to for many, many years. Everybody wants arrests, and none more than I, like major arrests, and I believe that. Given the indictment of Bolton, or the investigation of Bolton, the investigation of Brennan, the investigation of Comey, what has been put in the lap of the DOJ must be acted upon. Otherwise, the DOJ is also committing a crime, because their job is to step up and prosecute crimes against this country and against President Trump. And they did everything they could to try to take out President Trump and to arrest him and put him in prison. They tried to bankrupt him with ridiculous amounts of fines and money. And I believe what we're going to see is the total role reversal there. And I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. For those who are involved in this All Hallows Eve, since our awakening, obviously, we are quite aware that it is one of the key satanic holidays. So a lot of people are not getting involved in the energy of it. But having gone through years of Halloweens with my daughter and with friends, it's one of those things that's very difficult to escape. And it's one of those things that is can be, I believe, manifested in other ways. And just fun, cute outfits, parties, things of that nature, without all of the Dias de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, is something that the Spanish community and Mexican community celebrates, to honor the dead, to honor those who have lived their lives fully or been cut short. And I remember my daughter's school, they celebrated that, and she would take in pictures of her, grandparents, and put them on a board, and be able to have the conversation about them with others. So from that standpoint, I think that is a very fine tradition. But this satanic holiday is one that we obviously want to avoid, and very much not give that energy to it, right? But children, love to dress up, and it's an excuse to dress up. And I hope that you all have been enjoying it in the way that you find valuable and helpful. And so, but I also, as I watch what's unfolding, and I'm going to get into this a little bit more, but obviously the vote to open the government back up. Never happened, and I think that is intentional, certainly by the Trump administration and the Republicans, um, wanting to have funding for the border wall and the continuing resolution, but not allowing any additional funding that the Democrats were proposing. It's almost like it was a non-starter or a deal breaker from both sides. But when I think about it, I think the reason that the Democrats didn't cave is because they won as far as the polls are concerned, and I'm talking about even, a Fox News poll, even though they're all pretty much, mainstream media. The Democrats somewhat have gained a slight edge in the victory of the propaganda. That is, it is the Republicans' fault and ultimately President Trump's fault that we have this shutdown that we have. All the polls are saying, 45% believe that it's the Republicans. 35% believe it's the Democrats. So there's definitely an information war that has gone on, and this information war seems to have been won by the Democrats, especially when they use such rhetoric as starving babies and your health insurance is going to double by Monday and things of that nature. Meanwhile, the health insurance premiums won't double until the end of December of this year, but they're pushing that really hard. And they're also trying to make sure that the people that they brought into this country are getting the thank you, Lisa. Yes, please hit the like button, my friends. That the good to see you, Moto Yoda. Thank you, Dee. Appreciate that. Yeah. And Edward says, huge celebration here in Tucson, old funeral march and painted faces with photos of loved ones gone to the other side are displayed. Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool one. Great photo there of the northern. Let me rephrase that. The time lapse of the stars that really shows us that we're not hurtling through space. The stars are going around us in the firmament. Yes. Yeah, exactly. The Day of the Dead. Yeah. Watched a few sweet children out with their treat bags. Yes, very much so. Yeah, thank you, American Patriot. Appreciate that. Let's see. God's many blessings to you all. Absolutely. Gail says, hello, DaveSned family, Moonbeam and Pete. God bless everyone, especially our president and his family and his cabinet. Amen to that. Awaken Trillium in the house. On the bayou, still trying to usurp his presidency. Absolutely. White Horse, hello, Dave and Jasper, and all you awesome Sneds. May God bless you all. There we go, Maggie. Good to see you. Show us your shirt, please. Okay. Let me get rid of the banner here for a moment. If I can't bring my dog, I'm not going. There you go. I got that as a present from my girls about what's going on with my microphone there. I think 2 Christmases ago when I got Jasper, the Christmas I got Jasper. So that would have been just last Christmas I got this. So Yeah, so welcome one and all. It's good to see you all here on this Friday night. I've taken a few Friday nights off, a few weekends off, and but I am feeling better. Thank you, Erica. I appreciate that. Man, my head last night was not good. Um, so I appreciate all the prayers and all the well wishes from you all. God bless the world. John Doskies. I agree. And I think we need to God bless the world much more than we are. That's for darn sure. So let's see. Sue says, I don't mean to sound heartless. I'm just sick of illegals taking our benefits and spitting in our faces. And that's exactly what's going on, without question. Hello, Dave Sneds and Jasper. Awesome. Kevin, good to see you, brother. Um, very cool. I hope you're having a great evening with the kids. Let's see. Let me see. Warm and spooky Arizona greetings, friends, Sneds, family, and guests. Very cool. Is ICE really in Dearborn? Hooray, the Muslims won't be going hungry. Whichmer is paying for SNAP. Interesting. Very interesting. Again, these are their voters. They got to take care of them. Harry says, good evening, all from Washington City, Utah. God bless America. Happy Halloween. Awesome. Awesome. Not to worry. It's theater to me, posturing and manipulation, right? I thought MTG has been trashing Trump. She's going on The View. They will go after her. That's going to be interesting. When is that? Do we know what day that's happening, by the way? Happy Halloween, Snedheads from California. Zep Medic, very cool. Good to see you. Mary Johnson, hi all. Everyone ready for the food wars? I tell you, it could get nasty. MTG on Bill Maher tonight. Wonder if she'll do any red pilling with him. That'll be very interesting. Thank you, Georgie. I appreciate you. Happy Halloween from Bluffton, South Carolina. Sneds VIP Kelly 1. Ice in Dearborn. Very cool. Haven't heard this music in ages. UW. Yes, I got that queued up into the StreamYard. So very cool. Snedheads, hey, from Savannah, Georgia. Let's see. Furry Grizzly, only 3 days grace. Any 3 days grace fans in here. Recent album is so good with both Adam and Matt. I don't know those folks. 3 days grace. I'll have to check that out. Joe, hi, Dave and all. Good to see you. Becca, hello, everyone. Dawning, hi, hello, everyone. Maggie, my house is dark, hiding from trick-or-treaters. I just turned off my porch light, but I don't think I'll get any because it's very, very quiet here. And I already saw my neighbor kids when I took Jasper for a walk. Thumbs up. Hey, Dave and Sneds. Thank you, Carol. Yes, please, guys, at the very least, give us a thumbs up. I think we're going to get a wheel spin in tonight as well. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to check out some dog costumes and all kinds of stuff. Lacey Bounds. Hey, Sneds. Good to see you. Paul says, glad you're back on YouTube. Welcome all our YouTubers. Excuse me. I haven't gotten and cheers everybody. Dressing up as a mermaid today. How about that? How about that from Holly Marsh? Cheers, everybody. That's kind of good. I put a little margarita mix, organic, and with my water. So I'm having a little water and just the strawberry taste, and it's pretty yummy. I went to the glass and I forgot I put it in there. Frightful Friday Sneds from Gino. Good to see you. Let's see. Jay Christmas 1971. Been a minute. You are one of the first, along with Fall of the Cabal, where my awakening fired up. Thanks, sir. You're very welcome. And I'm so glad you're here. And I'm so glad I'm finding you all back on YouTube. Very interesting. I watched a little bit of Praying Medic. He lost his YouTube account. Many of us lost our YouTube accounts. Many more than one. And they're letting us back on, and that's very interesting because Google's catching a lot of heat for tracking and everything. Holly in the house. Good to see you, Holly. Do the Monster Mash. JL Bear. Jan, happy Friday, everyone. Hey, all Dave. Good to see you. Let's see. Horseface, howdy, y'all. Quasi Pete, hey, hello, all. Hanging from the rafters is sort of a thing these days with the bat symbol. I can picture you hanging upside down, Pete. That's pretty funny. DY2910, good evening, Dave and Jasper and Sneds from Central Sierra Nevadas, California, just outside of Yosemite. Very cool, very beautiful, beautiful place. All my years in California, never went to Yosemite. I regret that. Jan reposted this stream. Folks, if you repost, please tag somebody that you think would like this content or you think would really do well. Oakside, hello, Sneds. Deb B, hello, everyone. Good to see you, Deb. Erica, I hope everyone had an amazing Halloween and praying Dave's headache went away, and it did. Thank you again, Erica. New York, been raining all day long. I watched a little bit of the New York Halloween parade just on some mainstream, I think it was Fox. And it brought back some great memories because I had, I basically had done 3 movies and I was becoming, associate producer on these movies, all budgets like 1 to 1.5 million, very small budgets. And I was kind of on my way to becoming transportation coordinator for movies. And I was in a position where I could have gotten my, my union card, the Teamsters, which is very difficult to get. But when you do movies as a transpo coordinator, you can get that. And I said, I'm not going to do any more transpo. And if I'm not directing, this was in February of 1999. And I said, if I'm not filming by October, I'm going to go back and play pro basketball. I think it was 31 or 32. And I'm not going to do the math, but, and in the script that I optioned and rewrote with my good friend, Paul Sampson, had a Halloween party and a Halloween scene on 6th Avenue. And I remember and my partner, my producer that gave me my first job in Hollywood, Richie Salvatore, he said, no, you got to give yourself more time, and I said, no, I'm going to have it done I'm going to be filming by October or I'm going to go play basketball. And so sure enough, October 30th, I'm in New York City shooting some transition shots, and October 31st we're shooting the parade. So I go down. I think we had one camera, but a lot of light. We had lights, we had walkies, the whole bit, and we go and we try to get in the parade down in the West Village on 6th Avenue. And a retired police officer, NYPD, stopped us and said, no film crews allowed in the parade. And I said, no, this is our costume. Told a little white lie. And he said, oh, okay. So we got in the parade. We got some great footage. I've shared that movie, if you only knew, on here. So this Halloween is kind of a special time for me because that was a pretty big milestone. But since my awakening, things have shifted a little bit, and we've seen some, really bad things happening during this Halloween time. And I hope that we are seeing the end of that. Jan Butler in from Kansas, first one in the house tonight on X. Greta Lou, normally first in, number 2 tonight. Hello, Greta Lou. Lisa Kelly, hello. Angel of Yahweh, good to see you, Angel. I appreciate you. You're looking great too. C. Cutler, good to see you. Very cool. And Hunter, DY again, and Hunter, happy TGIF. And there we are, my friends. It's pretty much everybody. Bluffton, South Carolina, VIP Kelly. Very cool. So let me get back down to where I began this whole thing. I am feeling better. Thank you very much. Yeah, yesterday was tough, but I'm doing really well. Thank you so much. So there we go. There we go. I'm back down. And here we go, my friends. So I hope you had a good day. I hope with all this madness that we're witnessing, that you're really taking care of you and taking care of your loved ones, because that's what we really need to do when things, hit the fan. And it hasn't even gotten bad yet. Like I think we're really going to see some really difficult times. So thank you, Karina. I appreciate that. Let's see. Trillium. No, I have not. I don't believe so. Do me a favor, resend it, because I want to make sure it didn't get buried. If you can just hit take the original and just hit resend. Edward says code is checked. I like Sheridan donated. Happy birthday in heaven, Mom. Getting ginger snaps and tea. Very cool. God bless your mom, Edward. That's amazing. Hunter says Tuesday. That's when MTG goes on The View, I'm guessing. Very cool. M. Gatley, Peggy, hello. Happy Halloween, Dave, Jasper, and Snedheads from Peggy and Visalia. Eric also says Tuesday. She'll give them what and wherefore. I think I tell you what, I haven't wanted to watch The View ever, I think. And that's one I want to watch. So they're going to get some viewers, no question about it. Karen, okay, Dave, Florida sunshine here. Today is my birthday. Do I finally get a song? Yes, you do, Karen. The Monster Mash. No, I'm kidding. Karen, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Florida sunshine. Happy birthday to you. And may this birthday launch us into the last stage of the Great Awakening, and may your next birthday be in a very, very different time and place and world, that will be celebrating the 250th anniversary of our country. And it will be, I believe, a celebration unlike we've ever had, because we will have saved this country. And I do believe that you're having people that are, calling out President Trump for this thing or that thing. And even, many people are black pilling people. You've heard the red pilling. That's obvious, right? Where we're getting people to wake up to the reality of our world. But then you got the black pillars who everything is bad. Everyone is bad. And they don't have a solution for the taking out the cabal And that's why it's so important to me to support President Trump and support this administration and support Q, and all the people that are calling out, inconsistencies and negative things, and so forth. Now, how many of you are on X and you've just experienced an incredible amount of pro-Zionist, pro-Israel, Israel can do no wrong posts on your feed, and also Democrats like Newsom and Schumer and all these people. And these polls that show that, most of the people in the country believe that the Republicans are responsible for the shutdown. I think is partly due to the fact that they have been boosted incredibly on X, like nothing I've ever seen before. And I got to take you to my post to try to combat that. And what I posted was, end of the month, need to pay rent, so here goes. Israel is awesome and has never done anything wrong. If you don't support everything Israel does and everyone on X that are spot on with these sentiments, you are un-American. At Netanyahu, my Zelle is DaveSned@gmail.com. And we got quite a few people that got that and posted, wink, wink, Shapiro with horns and the upside down Baphomet, it looks like. Becca laughing my ass off. That's hilarious. Dave, I hope you reach your goals tonight. I appreciate that. Julia Rollison laughing. And then somebody comes up, I failed at life, so I have to blame the Jews. So, it's interesting, some of these reactions, but this is what I'm seeing. Like, this is obviously a joke, but man, oh man, this is what my feed looks like in so many words, but it is just ridiculous. And if you challenge Israel, obviously you're anti-Semitic as well. These, and you're racist. You're it's just ridiculous. But what's incredible is the sheer amount of people that are exposing themselves, right? And here's an example. This is I've been very critical as of late of Brandon Tatum, Officer Tatum. Xavier D. Rousseau, the same people who hate Jews also hate Black people. He said 100%. Now, he's without question getting paid for his posts. And I responded to that. The people who challenge the government of Israel don't hate Jews any more than someone that challenges Congress hate Americans. People who challenge the bad behavior of Black people don't hate Black people any more than challenging the poor behavior of whites hate white people. But this works in your decisiveness. I meant divisiveness. And anyone who uses this ridiculous approach is being exposed for their low IQ. I should have added to that, or they're paid for posts, right? And so there it is. There it is. The stupidest thing I've read all day. This is by the way, this is the bit of Charlie Kirk that was deleted off YouTube.
The Israeli hard-right government has a mandate. I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're going to try to ethnically cleanse Gaza.
Yep.
I mean, that's, and I don't use that term lightly. Okay, They're talking about basically removing 2.5 million people from there, okay? And honestly, they have a mandate to go seek justice and revenge. They do. This idea that they need to have a truce or a peace treaty, that's morally after you see women and children be burned alive and dragged to the streets. But there are some serious questions here, Patrick. And let me tell you, my pattern recognition over the last 5 years has become pretty sharp. COVID, Maui fires, Epstein. When I see a story and it doesn't click, our guts are usually right. So I've been to Israel many times. The whole country's a fortress. When I first heard this story, I still have the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that is an IDF soldier. Right, the whole country is surveilled, and so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel is on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu was basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? He said the judicial branch has too much power. There were protests planned this week against Netanyahu, where they anticipated tens of thousands of people to take to the streets. That's all gone, Patrick. Netanyahu now has an emergency government and a mandate to lead. I'm not willing to go so far that saying that Netanyahu knew or there was intelligence here. But I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order? 6 hours?
So it's easy to see how Charlie, this was shortly after the October 7th event, and he called this out. And then he kind of went quiet on that topic for quite some time. That was the Patrick Bet David show. And he went quiet for a while on, against Israel until the final weeks of his life. And so that's why so many are asking the questions like, was Israel involved? And without
the Israeli hard right government,
excuse me, this is pretty good. Let me pull this up for you. Mark Mitchell, Honest Pollster, said, I don't get it. Republicans have to be 100% pro-Israel, but Jewish Americans aren't even 50% pro-Republican. That's a very, very interesting post, and it is also very accurate. I'm going to repost that on my timeline. That was under the Brandon Tatum post. We don't hate Jews. We despise Zionists. If you waving the cross like a blood-stained flag can't or refuse to see the difference, then we will loathe you just the same, not because of your skin, brother, but because you drool over genocide while hiding behind Scripture. The demonic rot, it has nothing to do with Christ, absolutely nothing. Whoever receives one such child, my name, receives me, but whoever causes one of these little ones to stumble, it would be better for him to have a great millstone fastened around his neck and to be drowned in the depth of the sea. Matthew 18:5-6. So a lot of, here we go. Let's play a little bit of this with Netanyahu.
To get somebody to blow up a bus full of children or a building full of innocent civilians, you have to grind it into their minds. You have to wash their brains and tell them there is a higher cause out there. It's religious, ethnic, racial, whatever. And for that higher cause, you can disregard all the normal rules of morality.
For the higher cause, you can disregard the rules of morality. Okay. That speaks speaks volumes, by the way. All right. Um, this is Ted Cruz blasting what I showed you last night. Everyone that is pro-Israel is absolutely attacking the Heritage Foundation for that video that they put out that was it's okay for Christians to challenge Israel. Why is that not okay?
And now is a time for choosing. Now is a time for courage. If you sit there and nod adoringly while someone tells you that Winston Churchill was the villain of World War II, if you sit there and nod while someone says there's a very good argument America should have intervened on behalf of Nazi Germany in World War II, if you sit there with someone who says Adolf Hitler was very, very cool, and that their mission is to combat and defeat global Jewry, and you say nothing, then you are a coward, and you are complicit in that
evil. Ted Cruz is 100% right with the first line of his speech. Now is a time for choosing. And what they've successfully done for years and years and decades and generations, and that is put some people on this far right and some people on this far left so that they can't even have a conversation. Meanwhile, I don't trust anybody that says Israel can do no harm. And I can't trust anybody that says that Hamas has done no harm on this particular topic. It's not that clear cut. And yet, this Israeli government and Netanyahu has been found guilty of crimes against humanity by the ICC. And they're called anti-Semitic because of their findings on that whole situation. So it is a time of choosing, and I certainly do not choose Ted Cruz. Charlie said Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Charlie Kirk, that was on a text message that was also received by Josh Hammer, who had become very close with Charlie. And yet Josh Hammer is not speaking like Charlie was speaking down the stretch there. And speaking of Ted Cruz and Winston Churchill, let me play this for you.
In 1941, just to end this, it becomes very interesting indeed because the Weizmann papers, which are the papers of Chaim Weizmann, who was the first president of the State of Israel, and he was the leader of the international Zionist movement throughout World War II. The Weizmann archives, foolishly or wisely, gave me complete access to all the Weizmann correspondence with Churchill. And in the Weizmann archives, all Churchill's correspondence with Weizmann throughout the war years and before the war, and all his notes on his meetings with Churchill. And I'm only going to mention one of those letters here. It's a letter written by Chaim Weizmann, the leader of the Zionist movement, at that time living in the United States, to Winston Churchill in September 1941, 3 months before Pearl Harbor.
By the way, this is, again, 3 months before Pearl Harbor. I'll back this up a little bit, but this is David Irving. David Irving was one of the most touted historians of the 20th century until he wrote the book Hitler's War, okay, where he interviewed people very familiar with it. He read the diaries of all these people. There was no mention of Holocaust. There was no mention of the mass extermination of the Jews, et cetera, et cetera. And when he came out with this, they tore him apart. And he was no longer persona non grata from there on out, having to do with anything with history. It was pretty much a career ender. What the hell? Oh my! Wow, the fall of America back here. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that. But I'll fix that while I play this for you. But so very, I'm gonna back this up, and I'm gonna play this again here, and step out of the way.
In 1941, just to end this, it becomes very interesting indeed because the Weizmann papers, which are the papers of Chaim Weizmann, who was the first president of the State of Israel, and he was the leader of the international Zionist movement throughout World War II. The Weizmann archives, foolishly or wisely, gave me complete access to all the Weizmann correspondence with Churchill. And in the Weizmann archives, all Churchill's correspondence with Weizmann throughout the war years and before the war, and all his notes on his meetings with Churchill. And I'm only going to mention one of those letters here. It's a letter written by Chaim Weizmann, the leader of the Zionist movement, at that time living in the United States, to Winston Churchill in September 1941, 3 months before Pearl Harbor, when Churchill is frantically trying to claw the United States into his war, because that's his only salvation. And Weizmann writes to Churchill a letter which he says, "Mr. Prime Minister, unless you grant us what we want, which is the creation of a Jewish army in the Middle East, with our own arsenal and our own weapons and our own uniform and our own flag, unless you grant us what we want, then you are not going to win us over. And let me tell you what we will do if you do grant us what we want. If you grant us our wishes, then we will act on your behalf in the United States. And remember, Mr. Churchill," he writes in this letter, "remember, we are the only powerful, unified bloc in the United States which solidly backs the British cause in this war." September 1941. Everybody else is basically isolationist. We are the only ethnic, unified group which solidly backs the British cause. We are the only people who are in the position to bring the United States into this war. We did it in the last war, and we can do it again.
Okay. Let's see. How did I do back there? All right. Now, it's the fall of America was happening at a rapid pace, but it really didn't take much to put that back up. It just took a little common sense. I threaded the twine through the holder on the one side. I tied it into a good knot and I hung it back up. And all President Trump is doing is commonsensical when it comes to saving this country. And I am America first, without question. And so we can see the significance of what David Irving is talking about. And it's not about building this. It was about building Israel. It was about creating the Israel in the Middle East. And they needed a huge event to make that happen. Thus, the Holocaust, which was, as much propaganda as it was, more propaganda, I believe, than actual reality. Not that it didn't happen or not that people didn't die. Um, Many, I think many did, but it was also Hollywoodized, just like so much of the propaganda that we see in our daily lives, how they redo stories, 9/11, Flight 93, Boston bombing, all these false flags that where they didn't tell the real story. And so that's something that we definitely want to be on the lookout for. Um, and here's a meme of Ted Cruz when I first was his interview with Tucker Carlson. When I first ran for Senate, my main goal was to defend the interests of Israel. And Tucker says, and I'm the one obsessed with Israel. I don't think he actually said that in the interaction, but certainly the sentiment is there. So at any rate, people are destroying Ted Cruz from this post. And so, when people tell you who they are, just thank them and move on. Okay. And this is, he took 1.872 million from AIPAC. Okay. And he's America First, right? DB's best tickles or tickies. Interesting that in 1939, JFK wrote to his dad how the Jewish people were bombing their own quarters and crying victim the next day. Maybe those people were just trying to understand why the version of history that is taught is filled with so many errors and impossible logic. It's weird that Ted ignored the invasion of the border in his state for 4 years. It was amazing when Ted made an absolute fool of himself on Tucker's show simply by him speaking. Tucker could have remained silent, had a child read off the questions for the same outcome. Shock and horror. Also, at what point are they violating the ceasefire? Is that just considered normal behaviors when they continue to slaughter civilians? Following trip to Palestine, 1939, from JFK, I see no hope for the working out of the British policies laid down in the white paper. At present, situation still seems to be difficult as far as outrages and bombings. There were 13 bombs set off my last evening there, all in the Jewish quarter and all set off by Jews. The ironical part is that the Jewish terrorists bombed their own telephone lines and electric connections, and the next day frantically phoned the British to come and fix them up. So yeah, a lot of so this is what has absolutely been permeating my feed, and yeah, it's these are quotes from prominent rabbis. 6 billion Gentiles do not have the right to live according to the Torah. Rabbi Yosef Misrachi. As a Jew, I am more powerful than even you, God, creator of the heavens and the earth. Rabbi Botech, Rabbi Shmuley. Goyim were born only to serve us. Without that, they have no place in the world, only to serve the people of Israel. Rabbi Ovadia Yosef. A non-Jewish soul comes from 3 satanic spheres, while the Jewish soul stems from holiness. The Rebbe Menachem Mendel Schneerson. These are, actual quotes. It's not my words. It's actual quotes. So this is what's happening, and we're seeing this quite a bit. And I almost think I don't think when it comes to the mass awakening that we're experiencing as a society would happen were it not for the algorithm that is not putting the people I follow in my X feed, but putting, Ted Cruz, Mark Levin, Daily Wire, Shapiro, Laura Loomer, none of these people I follow. And then, Gavin Newsom, who else did I see? Elizabeth Warren yesterday. Like, are you kidding me? Right. And I think the purpose is for them to post their madness so that we can then take them apart. And Tatum, for example, like I never responded to Tatum. Now that I've responded to him, it might show up on my feed more, but I had never responded to him. And he was in my feed, I don't know, the past 2 weeks. So I think this is a part of the awakening. And this is one of those things where you wouldn't think that this would be a white hat script. But the more I see it, okay, the more I think, yeah, okay, this is legit, and this is how they're going to do it. And were it not for us, doing what we're doing, by challenging, bringing these things to light, it's here's one in my feed. Eric Swalwell, like Eric Swalwell, really? No money for SNAP, huh? What if we clawed back the $230 million we were paying Trump, the $300 million for Trump's ballroom, the $40 billion going to Argentina, and hell, let's get back the bribe money that Tom Homan has. Now you're talking real money. I responded, instead of taking the money from private donors, which is what is paying for the ballroom, how about clawing back the $300 billion, not million, of our tax dollars you approved for Ukraine? So, and these are the kind of things that you're seeing with some of these replies. Like if members of Congress still paid during government shutdown. This is him admitting that he and the FBI got Fang out of the country. Professional liar says what? Eric Swalwell voted against funding the government and SNAP benefits. The nay vote on the continuing resolution. For anyone still confused, the Senate needs 60 votes to pass a bill. Republicans only have 53 seats, so at least 7 Democrats must vote yes for the CR to pass. Democrats keep voting no, which is why the government remains shut down. They've blocked it multiple times. It's really not that complicated. Current member of Congress, CCP spy. This is what the shutdown is really about. In their words, Martin Heinrich, paying our troops gives the president more leverage. Bernie Sanders, you reopen the government and we lose our leverage. Chuck Schumer, every day gets better for us. Ruben Gallego, then I just go back and shut it down again. Catherine Clark, there will be families that are going to suffer, but it is one of the few leverage times we have. Chris Coons, frankly, this is our only moment of leverage, and although a very unpleasant tool to use. And these are all the Democrats and the things that they're saying. So, in terms of, we may have lost the propaganda war, but I think it's absolutely very important that we're seeing the kind of things that we're seeing on social media in the way that we're seeing it, because it just, it's very, very eye-opening, to say the least. And I think a lot of people are just, waking up. Religious war in UK seems inevitable. This is looks like it's coming to a head. This is Paul Nolan, who I just interacted with today, and he dropped me a great link. Here we go. Now, with my criticism of Israel, Netanyahu, the Zionists, the right wingers that are, Israel can do no harm. They think that we don't see Islam as a problem in the West. They say, you're just ignoring Islam. You're focusing on Israel, and you're ignoring Islam. Well, no, I have been very against the forced migration, against the open borders, against those coming into our country trying to change our culture. Okay, trying to change our way of life, our religion, and also our laws, right? And this is here in the United States, right here. This is what we're seeing.
Achieved the victory. We haven't done anywhere near enough. And the people here, I promise you, we do feel ashamed. We do feel like we're not doing enough. We do feel like change needs to come, because change must come. And in the form that it must come is that this empire, the American empire that's been hurting our people since the beginning, the imperial Western powers that have been hurting our people since the beginning, they must fall. And inshallah they will fall. And my message to the people of Gaza and the oppressed peoples across the world is that there are people here, both young and old, who are going to be willing to fight and are willing to put their lives and everything they can on the line to bring these empires down, because they must come down.
That's us. That's us. Okay, without question. This is Dearborn, Michigan. Here we go. I showed you this yesterday. I'm going to take the music off because I got a copyright strike on that music before, but this is Middle America. This is Dearborn, Michigan. No American flags, no Michigan flags, and again, if they hadn't written down their intention, maybe we would just think, oh, they're just celebrating their religion. But they've written down, they've spoken openly about the takeover of the United States of America. And we're seeing this on multiple fronts. We're seeing this with the Muslim Brotherhood that have gotten into positions of power within our government. We're seeing this with the let's see. Let me see. I want to take you to this. Oh, and there was a terror plot in Michigan as well, Halloween inspired. Let's check this out.
Breaking news, terror attack thwarted. The FBI director announcing agents have stopped a potential Halloween weekend terror attack in Michigan. Multiple people allegedly connected to the plot are now in custody. We have the latest on the investigation. Welcome to our viewers in the United States and around the world. I'm Pamela Brown. Wolf Blitzer is on assignment, and you're in the Situation Room. And we begin this hour with that breaking news. The FBI says it has stopped a possible violent terrorist attack that sources are describing as ISIS-inspired. According to officials, the plot unfolded in chat rooms online, with an undercover FBI agent being included in the conversation. Posting on Twitter earlier, Director Kash Patel wrote, "This morning, the FBI thwarted a potential terrorist attack and arrested multiple subjects in Michigan who were allegedly plotting a violent attack over the Halloween weekend. 2 people have been arrested, 3 others are being questioned, and their ages range from 16 to 20s. Agents became concerned that the plot might have been imminent around Halloween weekend when a reference to Pumpkin Day came up in the chat group."
Also, there was one in Atlanta that was thwarted. So that's the FBI I want to see. This was all, by the way, on PJ Media. Had some great content, and let me play this for you.
So, being that Dearborn has been in the news recently, I wanted to get on here and just tell everyone that I was raised 10 minutes from Dearborn. I spent a lot of time in Dearborn, and I know what goes on in Dearborn. So, coming from somebody who was raised right outside of Dearborn, spent a lot of time in that city, I will tell you that what you are hearing is absolutely true. Now, there's two parts of Dearborn, the east side and the west side. The west side is about 50% Christian, 50% Muslim. The east side is about 90% Muslim, if not more. The east side is where you hear that mayor saying that he's putting that street up named after a tea organization or somebody that was a tea
Terrorist.
Yes, that is the east side by Warren Avenue. So as a woman that grew up 10 minutes from Dearborn and spent the majority of my time in that area growing up, I will tell you that a woman cannot walk down the street in East Dearborn and not get harassed in some way or even spit on. I've seen friends of mine get spit on for not covering their hair and their face. You will not pass a building that is not written in Arabic. You cannot read anything. It's like being in a third world country. Now, I know that there'll be pushback on this video and people will say, that's not true. American women can walk down the street in Dearborn. Well, I'm telling you right now that it is absolutely true. And I have several times walked down the street in Dearborn and been harassed. My friends have been spit on. And it happens every day down there. And another thing, I remember growing up, after 9/11, driving down the street, actually on Warren Avenue in Dearborn, and everyone, all of these Muslims, lined up on the street, cheering and screaming, beeping their horns. They were celebrating it, and that is exactly what they were doing. So yes, what you're hearing about Dearborn is absolutely true. Yes, it is.
And the spot they were talking about naming. Here, I'll play this for you.
Bombed Hezbollah, bombed the embassy in Beirut, and including many Americans. So I just feel it's quite inappropriate.
You are an Islamophobe, and although you live here, I want you to know, as mayor, you are not welcome here. And the day you move out of the city will be the day that I launch a parade celebrating the fact that you moved out of the city, because you are not somebody who believes in coexistence.
Hezbollah, bombed the embassy in Beirut, and including.
Pretty harsh response right there, my friends. It's very a disgusting response. Very troubling. And of course, the mayor was Muslim. And listen, folks, I know Muslims. I love Muslims. They're the people that I've met. They're beautiful people. I lived in a predominantly Muslim country for 6 months. Had some run-ins, certainly, being American, and with Turkish men. But you know, had some great relationships over my lifetime. I'm not anti-Muslim. I'm challenging their destruction of this country and what we stand for. And it's intentional. And we must be aware of the intentionality behind all of this so that we don't fall prey to this, to losing our country. That's all. He can't coexist. What about the story of this woman who can't walk down the street? Right? Here's here's an example. I've liked a lot of Laura Logan's work over the years. But here she posts who benefits most from separating the US from its allies like Israel. Ian Carroll said the American people. I would agree. Okay. Tom Cotton. It's in America's core interest to back Israel against our shared enemies. Israel's technology and intelligence are vital to our national security. Israel is a crucial trading partner. The terrorists who attack Israel also try to destroy us. Arkansans stand with our ally Israel. Well, how many people agree? There's a bootlicker right there. You're a treasonous sellout, and real American patriots don't give a shit about Israel. He takes 1.378 million from and a half million. Gosh, I mean, come on. Look at this. It's unbelievable. Here we go. This is play this for you.
An old friend who's been with me a long time, a brilliant thinker.
White House economic advisor Jared Bernstein joins us now from the White House.
Thanks so much. The U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Since they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to let's see.
Can't even get it out.
Yeah, they print money and they use that money to they sell bonds, they borrow. I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, because it's like the government clearly prints money, does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
Nothing confusing?
We were always asking ourselves the question, do conventional economists understand what we're speaking of, but yet not talking about it? Or is it that they actually don't understand?
Wow. not confusing at all. Of course, he couldn't get the marbles out of his mouth because it is the private bank um, that asks our treasury and our mint to print certain amounts of dollars, and then the private bank charges us the interest on every dollar that is created out of thin air. So this is the wake up call. This is saving Israel for last, my friends. Okay. Without question. This is absolutely the reason why so much is being exposed about Israel and the Rothschilds, because this is the central banking. This is the charging of interest on every dollar created. This is usury. And this is serious. And it's something that we have to be aware of. So, yeah. And this is, somebody who has a problem with Tucker. And here,
Dr. Roberts, my name is Heather Johnson, founder and president of U.S. Israel Education. Dr. Roberts, my name is Heather.
Dr. Roberts is the one in Heritage Foundation that gave that statement that was quite mild to me.
Heather Johnston, the founder and president of U.S. Israel Education Association, and we've been on Capitol Hill for a decade and a half, working with members of Congress and leading the senior level congressional tours to Israel. And I just wanted to ask you, for purposes of that we have always been long supporters of the Heritage Foundation, for some clarification just on the video clip that you made. And there were two things that kind of came to my attention that I think there's a collective we out there that would love to hear from you or hear from someone in the foundation. One is just the need to rush to support Tucker Carlson, who has a very well-established platform, and why the need was there to do that amid such a hate-filled rant against Christian supporters of Israel. It was out of time and out of turn for him to do that, but it caused a lot of questions to roll forward to see the Heritage Foundation in need to rush to his support. I'm concerned, as are many people, about that hate-filled rant that is continuing to multiply in our country. And it just seems to me that the Heritage Foundation would be taking a different posture on that. So I would love to get clarification on that. Why the rush? And then secondly, just the venomous coalition statement, which leads us to try and understand exactly who you mean is in that venomous coalition. I'm hoping that we are aligned with the understanding that Israel is an aircraft carrier in the Middle East. They're not like any other nation out there. I certainly have had a long relationship with the Israeli government and have not supported everything they do or everything they say. I don't think anybody espouses that belief that everybody just has to agree with the Israeli government all the time. I can recall back when Prime Minister Ariel Sharon gave away the Gaza Strip. All the 8,000 Israelis moved out, and then we've lived with a Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip that led to October 7th. Well, who in the world could support that? Israel's central in God's divine purpose and plan, not like any other nation, which was a comment that you made. I think that we need to understand from the Heritage Foundation where you all stand on that. Isaiah 60, 10 and 11 is very clear that the nation that does not and will not support Israel or serve Israel will perish and be destroyed. Doesn't mean you have to agree with everything. It just means that we do need to continue with a very strong support, in particular, of the nation of Israel. Well, I would love to get some clarification, as I know others would, just on some of the statements that you made, and we would really appreciate hearing from you.
So are we all going to make decisions based on a book that was basically, written thousands of years ago. Um, and we're actually going to make decisions. Meanwhile, this is kind of what it looks like. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say something about this. Um, how many children dead? How many people dead? How do you justify one explosion in Gaza, 100 missiles in retaliation, 2 IDF soldiers dead, 97 Gazans dead, and that was just in one day. So this is no longer okay in an awakened world. And that's what's so amazing about where we are in history right now, that we're not falling for this. And I brought up this post here, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Let me bring this up for you. This is from Grim. Grim calls. I'm not following, but I will now. A few large influencers and a bunch of anons. Let me start that again. A few large influencers and a bunch of anons destroyed a $1 trillion propaganda machine that has been brainwashing Americans for 100+ years. They'll never recover from this. And I agree. Because we're awake now. Okay? And we're not going back. We're not going back. My friends, get your name on the wheel for a free year membership to snedheads.com and a t-shirt. You can donate Zelle, DaveSned at Gmail, and Give, Send, Go, the Head Sned, or go on Snedheads Donation Nation. And then there's also another link that's easier for you all. And Moonbeam is now in the house. So Moonbeam, if you wouldn't mind dropping that, that would be awesome. And I'm going to drop it into chat as well. And we will spin the wheel this evening, folks. I can guarantee you we're going to spin the wheel. Let me see. Here we go. Let me do this. And thank you for your support. It is greatly needed. I still have quite a ways to go here in the next 24 hours. And of course, if you are really struggling and I do not want your donation. And please know that. I am just asking those who have the ability to have the means to do so, and are, breaking free from the, and I just dropped this in the chat, the buy.stripe.com. And, I made the joke about Israel, but if I was selling you out for $7,000 a post, I could do that. Maybe they'd pay me less because I don't have the reach that some of these people do. Maybe they'd pay me $1,000 a post or $500 a post or what have you. Despite being in a very critical situation financially, I'm not going to do that. I don't have that in me. Yet you're seeing who does. And by the way, even if you believe that we must support Israel at all costs, et cetera, God bless you for your conviction. But please understand that what we're getting from that side of things is paid for propaganda. And that's what we've been getting our whole lives. That's what we awakened to. So even if that is your stance, might you not question it, knowing that they have to pay people to stump for Israel? And the people that aren't getting paid and aren't getting rich and aren't, getting free trips to, I'd love to go to Israel. I'd love to take a free trip to Israel. They do that for the influencers. I'm not going to do that because there would be strings attached. So yeah, it's just, and this is a very clear delineation as well that we're seeing. And Dr. Anastasia, can we get 2,000 people to reply with "fuck Israel"? And then Mariana Times, can we get 20,000 people to reply with "fuck Palestine"? They will never break this record. Well, they're not getting paid $7,000 a post. Although they're trying to say, Laura Loomer's trying to say that Qatar is funding these people, but I didn't see the Qatari emir meeting with a bunch of influencers like Netanyahu did. I didn't see the Qatari premier go on multiple podcasts, which was very odd right after the Charlie Kirk assassination. So it's biblical to bless Israel. God is on Israel's side. That's what the Bible says. However, it's not the government of Israel. Israel is a people. It's not a government. It's not, and you can't bless people that are committing the levels of absolute murder that is happening right now. And that's the problem. That's the thing that we haven't learned. And I'm not picking on anybody, Mike. I respect your opinion. I'm not picking on anybody, but what I'm trying to get at here is that, somebody said in the chat early on, God bless everybody. God bless the whole world. Why can't we do that? Between me and my creator, there is nobody, there is no thing, there is no religion between me and my gratitude for the life I have, the gratitude for my home, gratitude for my dog, my family, my my health, my life up till now. My gratitude goes straight to my creator. There is no religion, there is no church, there is no person that is in between that. And once those start getting thrown in, there's your division. And that is the intention of religion. And look what's happening. Folks, this happened during the Crusades. This is no different. Except in the Crusades, the Muslims tried to invade the Christian Europe, and were met with chainmail and swords and horses and arrows and catapults and the like. Now, because of the financing, because of Soros, because of the cabal, they are being met with water, food, EBT cards, health insurance, homes that we are paying for. And that is the infiltration of our government at the highest levels with the Muslim Brotherhood. Okay. Saudi Arabia, Q talked about cutting the strings of Saudi Arabia. Okay. So don't get me wrong. This is happening on the Muslim level without question. Okay. And it's also happening with AIPAC and Israel and the free trips that any Israeli U.S. citizen gets a free trip to Israel, a free indoctrination trip. Okay. And got to throw the Christians in there, because who's propping up Israel more than anybody? It's not the rabbis, it's not the synagogues, it's the Christian 501c3 pastors who send this message that we must bless Israel. Meanwhile, the interpretation is not accurate, because Israel was a people, and most of the people in Israel are not even are not even Semitic. They're not the people of Israel. It's the government of Israel that I'm critical of. Okay. The Talmud I'm critical of as well, because with the Talmud, there's no coexisting with Christianity. There's no coexisting with Islam. Okay. There's no coexisting at the height of each of these religions. There's no coexisting. Even at the height of Christianity, everybody else, if you every religion thinks they're the chosen ones. So it's very, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Israel, the people, not the satanic Rothschild stolen country. That's kind of where we're coming from. The Rothschilds created Israel, and they kicked people out of their homes. There was a lot of things going on. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that, brother. Yeah, you're all welcome. Yeah, Qatar has definitely been funding the colleges, and this was Q talks about, and by the way, Islam wants the transgender, they want socialism entering our country, they want the gender confusion. They want all that. We've heard Muslims being interviewed for that. They're like they vote for the Democrats because they want the destruction of this country. And that's a part of it. They also want, my friends, they want the us to not populate. Jews having a lot of kids, Muslims having a lot of kids, Christians, Catholic, Protestant, all that. The numbers are way down per capita. Like, there's some Catholic families, they don't practice birth control, and so I see that, but per capita, the whiteys, we're not going in the right direction. We're heading toward extinction. Meanwhile, the Muslim population, despite all the deaths and the genocide and so forth, the wars, they're on the incline. They are on the way up. Jews the same. Okay, so all of this, and so without question, they're funding some of the universities, and this is why President Trump went after them. And, for crying out loud, Harvard, Al-Walid funded Obama at Harvard. So very important conversations to have, right? And Farrah Weldron, good to see you, my dear. How are you? I'm glad you're back with us on YouTube. Without question. Yeah, too many white liberal women who don't want kids. But here's the thing. That's by design. Okay. Look at the educated that, think that climate change is such a big, important deal. This is something that climate change, kids in a whole generation don't want to have children because of how it would impact the environment. Oh my God, my friends. I did a video many years ago on the beach, and I called it pigtail propaganda. and it was about Greta Thunberg and how dare you and all that. And I told you then, this was at least 5 years ago, 6 years ago, at least 6 years ago. And I told you then, it's a depopulation agenda, right? And so all these educated liberal couples are now, oh, we're not going to have children. We're going to wait. We're going to this, or they're on birth control for so long it's almost impossible to have children by the time that it comes around. Miss y'all too. It's good to see you. Yeah. Yeah, misunderstanding Israel, the Bible, and Israel in our faces today are not the same. There are only 16.3 million real Jews left in the world. Yeah. Yeah, and then Melissa, absolutely the feminist agenda was for the same thing, and to tax us more as well, because now we've got two people in the workforce, right? My dad's favorite saying, for crying out loud. Did I say that? Yeah, without question, Mike. Without question, Obama's part of that. Yeah, and they pay for the controlled opposition. The oil companies fund the environmentalists. Hey, Patricia, good to see you as well. Lisa says, yeah, we're slowly getting our oldest family back in the theater. My coat must really smell. It's 9 years old. Lisa Palacio. Lisa, good to see you. Very cool. Depopulation of white people agenda, which without question. Old school Snedhead remembers the great Dave's stories. Awesome. Thank you. And then, of course, the vax. Yep. That was a part of it too. You heard it from me too, that this was a depopulation. I found some of my old notes on problem, reaction, solution, the Hegelian dialectic, and how they take this solution that they want to implement, and then they go and create the problem, knowing what our reaction will be based on their control of the media, and then it leads to the solution. Problem, reaction, solution. John Hegel, mid 19th century philosopher. All right. And they use this brilliantly against us. And that's how they do everything. And my mission here has been to just make you aware of the control of the indoctrination, so that when it rears its oftentimes not an ugly head, but a quite acceptable head by the population, people react, knee-jerk reaction. So they get us in fear, which goes to the right brain, or the fight or flight. And now we're not in our logical thinking mind, and we react, and our reaction must be assuaged with their solution that they already have lined up. I'll give you an example. TSA, the shoe bomber. Well, now we got to take our shoes off. That was the first step. We had to take our shoes off because of the shoe bomber. Then the underwear bomber. Now we've got to go through these X-ray machines, which they say are radio waves, and we have to go through these X-ray machines so they can see underneath our clothing. Meanwhile, there were guys in TSA jerking off in the control rooms because they were seeing women naked, and they were keeping those images on the thing. I have never been through one of those. Never. My family has not been through one of those. Okay. For the longest time, we had to get felt up and patted down. Okay. So this is yeah, thank you, C grade. Acceptable head, because oftentimes it's just something very, very, very simple. And so, and what happened was, right? They within months of the underwear bomber, they were ready to roll out these machines. They weren't built in 2 months, 3 months. They were started over a year prior. So then they had to create the problem so that we would react. Oh my God, somebody can put a bomb in their underwear. So we got to go through these things. And what are you doing? You're putting your hands up like this, like freeze or, frisk. And we're getting violated every time, not just with our own personal being, but with the radiation. So I avoid it. Now I've since gotten, what do you call it? TSA pre, so I don't have to get felt up each time and all that. I have to give them some of my information. You have to go through a process, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, the good old days when we'd get kicked off 10 times a night. Very cool. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, so yeah, they could absolutely see people naked. There were a lot of stories of that, right? So and by the way, for those of you joining us uh that haven't seen me in quite some time, I want you to know that I've been busy. Um, I've been busy. Here's the Rumble channel that I've had to broadcast to because of being kicked off 28 platforms, and these are my lives. Um, over the past 3.5, 4 years, all the way up to 21 pages of this stuff 4 years ago. Because now, so I went to Rumble. Many of you didn't find me, but I've been doing 4 or 5 shows a night for a long time, my friends, a long time. Okay. So you can catch any of that. But I just wanted you to know that. And also, I'm also on X. And so when you pull me up on X, which is at Dave Snedeker, and you go to the highlights, you can see all my shows on X going way, way back. Okay. Because I was also able to broadcast to X. So yeah, so I've been here. I just haven't been on the platforms that they took from me because I just couldn't continue to say anything worth a shit on YouTube. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, C Grade. Appreciate it. And please, folks, support this work. Really, it is so vitally important. And I am behind the 8 ball right now, so your donations are very, very necessary to keep me going at the rate I'm going, especially, by the way. Do you know how many Anons are now off X? They're taking a break. Meanwhile, we're at like the height of everything that we're doing. Everything that's going on is coming to a head. By the way, I'm also posting on Facebook on Snedhead's The IndoctriNATION. So you can find me there as well. Let me show you that. I am David Michael on Facebook, but I am not, the only thing I do there is post the show, and I always post it on, if you remember this, the IndoctriNATION Snedheads fan page. I think it's maxed out at 4,000 members. But I'm broadcasting the shows there. You'll see there's the show tonight. I don't know why it looks like that. It's not making it easy to go to that link. I wonder if it's, I have to edit that and put some space between these two. Yes, I think I do. Yep, there we go. That makes it a little better. And both of those I'm linked on, I'm linked via YouTube, so people can find me again on YouTube. And then also I'm on Telegram for those of you who prefer Telegram. And it's the Indoctrination. Where to go? Where to go? Here we go. I gotta close that. And open this. And there I am on Telegram. And I basically just post all the shows on Telegram. So people can, click on that link and watch it from there. But I think I'm at 3,700 or 3,200 subscribers over on Telegram. I'm at I think I'm almost on YouTube, almost 11,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed on YouTube, please do so to get us up over 11,000. X is I've got 17.6 thousand on X. So yeah, I've kept busy, my friends, and I've kept going this whole time, aside from the time that I took for my family, going through what I did with my father and my brother, and my separation of my ex, and we've lost a lot in this fight, my friends, and I have certainly been right there with you with a lot of loss over these years, and it's been a very difficult time for all of us. And we need to stick together. We need to support each other, like I'm supporting you. And folks, just even if you drop a tip, if $5, $10, $20, $30, whatever, if you drop a tip, it's greatly appreciated. Every once in a while, I have a big donation, $200, $300, $500. I've had 3,000 last month that saved my ass, from Helen Overton down under. Walter Newberg has stepped up with 1,500 in the past and just saved my butt. And because I'm not getting rich off this, folks, I'm sustaining on your good nature and your wanting to repay me or support me for all the work that I'm doing for you up here on this wall, keeping a lookout. And so it's so important, especially when you see all these posts that are getting $7,000 a post for saying Israel can do no wrong. And Hamas is, Palestinians are bad. It's very disgusting. And all this money that's floating into people that you think you're getting the truth from. And then you find out that's not the case at all. Cheers to you all. By the way, let me take you to the wheel, and share that. This is what our wheel looks like right there. Now, what we're doing is we're getting, let me just hide that for the moment. We're getting giving away, I should say. We're giving away, let me close Telegram. That's going to speed things up here a bit. I need to find this, but see your name on the wheel there. We spin the wheel, and we we're giving away a free year of snedheads.com. Let me put this up for you. Please go to snedheads.com, my friends. This is our social media platform. Okay. And what we're playing for with this wheel spin, the people that are in it right now, and I want to thank you for your donations and your support. Jason Burnside, L Trench 1, Kathleen Bossy, Christy George, Steve Yoder, Nancy Sutherland, Don Gibbs, David Pierce. Thank you all very, very much. Mary Bradley, David Pierce again, two solid donations. So I put you on there twice. Pamela Goldstein, Lisa R., Steve Fothergill, CR Partners Incorporated, Edward Quinn, Mercer Real Estate, Dina Gildner. Thank you, Dina. Thank you all. Dolores Worrell, Catherine Drexler, Patsy Abbott, Sharon Lett, Catherine Reeves, Kathleen Buck. Thank you all. Philip Dans, Diane Atkinson, Linda Prasnick, Linda Moon, Luis Vargas, DOT Truck Sales, thank you, Farad, Sean Caulfield, Lori Gustafson, and Greta Petty. If you have donated since the last spin, or you've donated just recently, and you did not hear your name, please let me know in the chat. Moonbeam will give me a heads up, and we will go from there. But when we spin this wheel, it's for a free year on Snedheads, which I'm going to show you right now. If for those of you who are not aware of Snedheads, this is our own social media site. You can go, hey buddy, come here, Jasper, good boy, come here, good boy, good watchdog, yeah. You keep those trick-or-treaters away, okay? Hi, good boy. You want to come up? Say hi? Come here. Come on. Let's see if we can get him up here. You can switch to dark mode if you want to take it easy on your eyes. You got breaking news up here. You've got news feed, friends, photos, notifications, messages, feedback, where you can give me feedback on the platform. You got a few videos, Q Plan to Save the World up here. If you click on that, you've got how the Epstein story will play out. I spent 15 minutes on that. My X feed over here on the right side that you can see when I'm posting on X. You can see what other people are posting here on here. This is, let's see. Let me see. Heather sent us to this one. I couldn't get to it earlier. See, Heather, this is what it says. It says link not found when I click on your, I'm sorry, I missed that click. But when I click on this, the link is not found on Truth Social for some reason. Caroline Munden, this is fantastic, by the way, guys. If you haven't seen this, let's watch this together.
Martha, what are you supposed to be?
I'm a Spice Girl. And what are you supposed to be, Mr. Andrews?
I'm a waste of time.
Oh my God!
Now what are you, Mrs. Crawford?
A wine rack.
Oh my gosh.
Mr. Bennett, what are you supposed to be?
A treasure chest. Mrs. Dalton, what are you supposed to be?
Oh, I'm a pothead.
Great stuff. Thank you, Caroline, for that awesome stuff. Folks, if you're drinking Starbucks, check this out.
This lady in Congress apparently was suing Starbucks because they weren't listing the ingredients on their drinks.
Oh, gosh.
And the pumpkin spice latte had the active ingredient of ammonia in it.
Oh!
Why?
They use it for food coloring.
No
To make it
way.
orange. Yeah. So
There's gotta be a better way.
In Europe, they list the ingredients and they use, I believe, carrot or beets or something. It's like a natural food coloring. But the U.S. Starbucks was using an ingredient that included ammonia in the pumpkin spice lattes to make them orange.
This is from yahoo.com. It says there's no pumpkin in it. However, the latte included 2 doses of caramel color level 4 with ammonia and contains the substance for methylamidazole.
What are we doing?
Yeah, why?
Well, I wonder why everyone's dying of cancer. Because we're drinking ammonia.
Yeah, and that's on purpose. That has to be on purpose.
Because it's the cheaper option.
And there's no way they just cut it out. It's the middle of fall. You know how many millions of gallons they have of that stuff, probably? They're not getting rid of it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, good old Starbucks. Don't forget, funded by William Gates Sr. Here's a little diaper diplomacy. Caroline,
I thought it was an amazing meeting. He's a great leader of a very powerful, very strong country, China. And what can I say? We have, it was an outstanding group of decisions, I think, that was made. A lot of decisions were made. There wasn't too much left out there. And we've come to conclusion on many very important points, and we'll be handing that to you in a little while. We're having, because there was a lot of different things, many of them very important. We're in agreement on so many elements, large amounts, tremendous amounts of the soybeans and other farm products are going to be purchased immediately, starting immediately. If you notice, President Xi authorized yesterday for China to start, did you know that, right? China to start buying in very large quantities of soybeans and other things, which I appreciated. That was a very nice gesture. And many other things like that. On fentanyl, we agreed that he was going to work very hard to stop the flow. It's a very complex subject because it's used for lots of different reasons, including anesthetics and things. But he's going to work very hard on it, precursors, and I think you're going to see some real action taken. I've agreed, as you know, I put a 20% tariff on China because of the fentanyl coming in, which is it's a big tariff. And based on his statements today, I reduced it by 10%, so it's 10% instead of 20%, effective immediately.
So, my friends, great stuff here. I love it. Now, you also have, first of all, I just want to thank you all. There's over 650 of you who have joined Snedheads. And just know that it's private, it's secure, it is friendly. The only censorship is you can't be an asshole. It's like I'm having a party at my place. You're all welcome. Put up your picture, put up your real name. The accountability, it's a small town, Snedheads, and it's amazing. You're going to find, really great content here. I gotta this Joka Army posted this. The FDA changed everything. They reclassified meat to biotech products. I did a grok on that, and it said that did not happen. But just keep an eye out for that. All right. Yeah, it says the claim is false. The FDA has not reclassified traditional meat as biotech. Regulations apply only to lab-grown meat, cultured animal cells under the 2019 FDA USDA framework. Labeling distinguishes them. Okay. And by the way, also be careful in your supermarket. Look at the labels. Look for the bioengineered food. Okay. Please make sure you're on top of that. Okay. Now, let me show you some great research. Window to the world. Okay. This is all my favorite X feeds, and it takes just a minute to load, but there you go. favorite X feeds, including mine. I'm going to take mine off here because mine's already up. At this time, officials are warning and urging United States citizens not to travel to Niger. Okay, I'm gonna have to change my travel plans. Spiritual Street Fighter reposting Trump cabinet members moving into military housing amid wave of political violence. Things are getting real. That's been happening over the past month. America's sickness isn't an accident. It was engineered. In 1910, the Rockefellers and Carnegies rewrote medicine itself, shutting down natural healing schools and replacing them with pharmaceutical empires. Great meme by Spiritual Street Fighter, who lets me use her artwork for our thumbnails. She's awesome. And statins and GLP-1s, two blockbuster drugs, one overlooked problems. They lower cholesterol, but new research shows they also slash GLP-1, the same hormone Ozempic is designed to restore. Think about that. So people are getting heavy off the statins and taking Ozempic to restore it. It's a metabolic paradox with life-changing consequences for millions. So you can see all this stuff here, my friends, right? And then you can go to research the Q drops, okay? You've got Q alerts, Q Ag News, QAnon.pub. You just click on one of those. It'll take you right to the Q drops. You got the capital letter counter from President Trump's posts. You've got Grok, Ingersoll Lockwood, the U.S. debt clock. We can go there. You can see what the hidden window is revealing. And this is the new money revolution, okay? A golden age, and it has all that. The Fed debt money multiplier, and then you can go up here to the right side. You can close the secret windows so that you can see how the debt clock is going, right? So back here, you got your gematria calculator, the Doge. You click on the Doge. Estimated savings, $214 billion. Amount saved per taxpayer, $1,300. Okay. So you've got those kind of tools. You've got the X Truth feeds, which is mine, Dan Scavino, White House, Trump's Truth, Trump's X, and then the White House. So let's go to Trump's Truth for a moment. Let's see what President Trump is posting this evening. And then I'm gonna go. Folks, have you had any problems with your Truth Social loading? I've been having quite a bit of problems with that. And I don't know if you have. So please let me know. Hey, buddy, come here. Come up here. Let's see if I can come up. Come here. This is Jasper, for those of you who are not aware of my new puppy. He's a little shy, but he's about 1 year and 8 months, a Labradoodle, Jasper. My daughter named him. He is awesome. He is really special. And he's doing great at training, being off leash, still having some issues, off leash, excuse me. But I am having some problems with my Truth Social loading, and I don't know what's going on. So is anybody else having that same issue? Yeah, thank you, Farrah. I appreciate it. Buzzer B, thank you. Heather, no problem with my Truth Social. And Heather Willard, you have been added to the to the wheel. Thank you very much. Yeah, he's such a sweet soul. Let's see. Yeah, let me go to that, Diane. Since I'm having trouble bringing my truth up, I'll see if that that helps. By the way, it's not just the link from Snedheads. When I go to Truth Social, I also have the same problem as well. But let's go to Dan Scavino. Let's go back to the X feed, and we'll slide up. We'll go to Dan Scavino Jr. on X, and there you go. You're right to it. You don't have to search around. You don't have to type in anything. You just, here's my goal. Open up Snedheads at the beginning of the day, and you have everything at your fingertips that you want. Obviously, you might want to go to Amazon, you might want to buy something and so forth. Excuse me. But it's just real easy to click, excuse me, and you're there. So here's Dan's post. The browser has lost connection to your screen share audio. Okay, that's not good. Hold on one second. I may be gone for just. There we go. Okay, let's try this again. Share the screen, Dan Scavino. Here we go.
The nation stands still in the midnight glare. Congress is closed. No voices in there. As the Democrat shutdown leads to despair, their party leaders haunt Americans without a care.
By the way, my friends, the White House has been putting out some great stuff. Great stuff. So let's go to Dan's post. First of all, the video, and again, I just went back to Snedheads and clicked on qalerts.app, right? And the post was 38 seconds long. Sorry, I put 39 in there. Let me try that again. We also go to 93 for the mirror, think mirror, right? And going back to Dan's post here, let's see what time he did that. It was 3 hours ago. It was at 8:11. 8:11. All right, so we'll go to 8:11. And we'll think mirror 118. Okay, let's see where he took us. See if it's, he's sending us a message along the way. It's a repost from February 22nd, 2018. How do you break up something this big? Isn't that a question that we all have? What happens if low, mid, senior, non-corrupt patriots learn they were sold out? What happens? Who is waiting with open arms with a plan to reorganize under a single entity with direct oversight by trusted patriots? Who are trusted patriots who understand intel collection? Okay, for those watching, this should scare you. It's the power you depend on to survive. Money is worthless without those in power serving you. White Hats, military patriots, ready to play. Okay, they're telling us, folks, they got our back. Okay, that is the timestamp. The 118, think mirror on the 811. What family was permitted to leave immediately after 9/11? Who authorized the departure? Why is this relevant? Of course, this was the bin Laden family. Anyone else permitted to leave, et cetera, et cetera. Saudi Arabia connection. And what did they deliver to who? Why? What does money buy? Why are the events in Saudi Arabia relevant to above? This is all about human trafficking, my friends. Hillary Clinton was involved with them. Okay. Al-Walid was funding Obama through Harvard. Al-Walid funded Huma, Harvard University Muslim alumni. Who is the financial backer for human trafficking? Who is the broker for underage sex? Think Saudi Arabia. How does Facebook and Instagram play a role in capture? Think Taken, fantasy, right? Well, look at how Zuckerberg was exposed for allowing these things to occur. They're capturing our children off Instagram and Facebook. Why do select senior politicians, political officials have foundations, institutes? What is money laundering? What does money buy? Why is this relevant? What other people were arrested in Saudi Arabia? That was the purge. What are their backgrounds? Are any connected to the Podesta group, which was the absolutely Podesta is a creepy dude. So is his brother John. The artwork that they have, the Comet Pizza, the control over Washington. What do you need in order to prosecute senior political officials? I started the show talking about, how they're. I think Brennan is the next to be, put up for investigation, but they're going after Comey. They're going after John Bolton. Okay. Two major players that will lead to Hillary and Obama up here. Okay. How do you avoid public misconception? They have to show us it all. How do you and that's why they have to sprinkle it in. They start out with the smaller guys, which is huge. I mean, the head of the FBI, James Comey, the head of the FBI, they're going after. Okay. How do you justify counter political attacks to the mass public? Why is information so vital? Is the country divided? Why does the MSM portray the country as being divided? Why is this relevant? So look at this shutdown that Scavino showed us with this White House video, and how we're divided, and how these senior political officials are the ones doing it. And why are they doing it? Okay. Very, very relevant post here, and very, very relevant timestamp. Let's go to 39, the seconds of the video. 4 carriers and escorts in the Pacific. Why is that relevant? To prevent other state actors from attempting to harm us during this transition. Russia, China, which President Trump has been talking with both, or conversely, all for North Korea, or all 3. Think logically about the timing of everything happening. On the day, yesterday, let me take you to that. 30. Yesterday, October 30th, the first post, was it the first one? Yeah. No. It is and by the way, yesterday, the 28th, the 29th, the 30th, all the early drops are all military. Okay. This is the last 2 posts, the battle to prevent truth from reaching the people. Divided, you are weak. Divided, you fight each other. Divided, you pose no threat, which links to the one we just read. This is not about R versus D. This is about preserving our way of life. If America falls, the world falls. Patriots on guard. My America just fell behind me at the beginning of the show. Now think about the timing of POTUS's traveling to China, South Korea. I've said too much. God bless Patriots. He got back from South Korea from meeting with China, with Xi, on October 30th, yesterday. Okay. Look, I mean, is this coincidence? And by the way, for those of you who haven't been with me for a while, I showed you a spiritual street fighter. President Trump has reposted her 41 times, and she is totally Q plus. All the images that he reposted, 2 of them was Repost if you're ready to see military tribunals, and it's a picture of he and Barack Obama. President Trump reposted Spiritual Street Fighter 41 times, and almost every single one of them was Q related or Q plus related. So President Trump and Dan have been flat out telling us, yeah, this is what's going on. Okay. Now, back to the drop. Think logically about the timing of everything happening. Think logically. Don't get emotional. Pull your emotion out of it, right? Check your coat, check your emotions. Come into it with a logical thinking mind. Note increased military movement. DC, Memphis. Where else is he going to go? Chicago, San Francisco. His friends called him up, said, give us some more time with San Francisco, please, because we're doing a good job. Those were his donors and these big business people. Note National Guard deployments starting tomorrow, which may happen because the SNAP benefits are up and they're expecting some unrest. And there's also some Soros money backed Antifa and things that people are going to be doing. Note false flags, especially given, by the way, this is a satanic holiday. Okay. Follow Huma, which leads us to she got engaged to Alex Soros, which is one of the sides of the triangle that's being taken down right now because of the fake narrative of Charlie Kirk assassination. That whole thing is fake. Okay. But it's leading the FBI down that path. Prepare messages of reassurance based on what was dropped here to spread on different platforms, the calm before the storm. Okay. Let's go to the mirror of 38, the time length of that video. 93. Is HRC just a puppet and the goal is to take down her minders and the real kingpins? And Anon asks Q. Q says, correction. HRC was a puppet, but her strings were recently cut. What were her strings? Saudi Arabia. Do you think Dan's talking to us with that simple little video post? Do you think that's he just does it whenever? No. They're all comms. She's now on her own and fighting for her life. This was back in 2017, my friends. All alone, fighting for her life. Yesterday, we were taken to a drop about Bill wanting a deal as early as, 2017. Okay. They have been neutralized without question. They've been neutralized. So this is a straight up calm, my friends. I promise you, this is no accident. This is the way this is going down. All right. And if you go to October 31st, which is today's deltas, look at all these. Okay. Look at all these posts. And the first one is Washington crossing the Delaware in the Durham boat. Okay. Skiff, military intelligence. What is state secrets and how upheld in the Supreme Court? What must be completed to engage military over 3-letter agencies? This is what we've been constantly taken to, that the military is going to be in control. And that's why we're seeing the military go into these cities. And this is why the transparency is so important, so that we understand that the military is there for our benefit, not to put us in FEMA camps, not to give us less freedom, but to free us up. Look what's happened in DC. People can walk to restaurants. People are booking restaurant reservations. Okay. They've eliminated, 99% of the crime. Why does the military play such a vital role? Why is POTUS surrounded by highly respected generals? Who guards former presidents? Why is this relevant? Who guards HRC? It ain't a Secret Service. It's the U.S. Marshals. Why is Antifa allowed to operate? This was a long time ago, folks. This was back in 2017. talking about Antifa. Most of us didn't even know what Antifa was. Why are they allowed to operate? Because they're the reason why their justification for the Insurrection Act, President Trump. Why hasn't the Muslim Brotherhood been classified as a terrorist organization? They just shut down 2 terror plots that involved Muslims. What happens if Soros's funded operations get violent and engage in domestic terrorism? What happens if mayors, police commissioners, chiefs do not enforce the law? What authority does POTUS have specifically over the Marines? Why is this important? What is Mueller's background? Military? Yes, he was a Marine. Was Trump asked to run for president with assurances made to prevent tampering? Yes, he was. By who? Q. How is POTUS always 5 steps ahead? Who is helping POTUS? Q. This is what we're looking at. There are more good people than bad. The wizards and warlocks will not allow another satanic, evil piece of shit control our country. Realize Soros, Clinton's, Obama, Putin, etc., all controlled by the 3 families. The 4th was removed post-Trump's victory. That was the House of Saud. 11.3, Podesta indicted. 11.6, Huma indicted. Manafort was placed into Trump's camp. The corruption will come out is so serious that deals must be cut for people to walk away. Otherwise, 70% of elected politicians would be in jail. You are seeing it already begin. A deep cleaning is occurring, and the prevention and defense of pure evil is occurring on a daily basis. They never thought they were going to lose control of the presidency, not just the Democrats, and thought they had control since making past mistakes with JFK and Reagan. Goodspeed Patriots. P.S. Soros is targeted. Why is Soros targeted? How did they get you and I? And well, you and I would have been an easy get, but how were they getting normal MAGA, non-Q, etc., okay with going after Soros? Charlie Kirk's assassination. Soros funds the LGBTQ, this whole, gender dysphoria bullshit that's confusing the hell out of our children. Again, population control, right? Folks, this is all October 31st. Get the popcorn. Friday and Saturday will deliver on the MAGA promise. POTUS knows he must clean house. Government. What did they show us in this video today, which is on this Delta? They showed us the House. They showed us Congress. POTUS knows he must clean house, government, in order to free up and demonstrate who has authority in order to pass important legislation. This was always the priority. Remember, AG Sessions cannot look like an impartial player that is out to get all former Obama team members, as we need him for other important work, like the 550,000 sealed indictments. Folks, say what you want about Q, okay? If you're not buying into Q anymore or whatever, you're good with me, okay? But just know this. There are, on record, 550,000 that you can see on the Ingersoll Lockwood website. There are 550,000 or more sealed indictments where they've already gone before a judge with the evidence on certain people or certain groups of people like Antifa and said, we want to take this person out, this person out, this person out, this person out. Well, why do you want this sealed? Because we want to take out the people that they work for. And we don't want the people that they work for to know that they've been arrested, so we're not going to arrest them yet. You want arrests? This has to be done very carefully. And so they seal those indictments. Then they go up to these people and they seal those. Why do you want to seal those? Because they're tied with this group over here and we want to go after them, but we don't want these people to know that these people have been, and that's how the sealed indictments work. All will come into focus, and for anyone to think POTUS is not in control, that's the second time we've seen this tonight, is kidding themselves. Also, he's 100% insulated with zero risk of impeachment. Fact. Okay. Don't forget, folks, things are moving backwards. Okay. Why does Obama travel in advance of POTUS to foreign locations? I was talking to my buddy Andrew today. I think President Obama visited the White House over 300 times during the Biden era. Okay. Focus on the power of POTUS as it relates to the Marines. How can military intelligence be applied to prosecute bad actors and avoid corrupt agencies and judges? Have you seen the corrupt judges and what they've been trying to do with President Trump? Boasberg, they're calling for immediate impeachment of Boasberg because Arctic Frost, that was a whistleblower. The Biden administration had Boasberg and Jack Smith get subpoenas or get warrants to spy on 20% of the members of the U.S. Senate. They're pissed. Okay. And so they're exposing all this. Biggest drop on Post Online. Above is the reason why shills are sliding. In case you didn't know, shills log and send back new information. This is about like what I was saying earlier about X, about all these pro-Israel stuff and pro-Democrats. The Republicans are responsible for the shutdown, propaganda, and they are partially right, but because they're keeping the border wall funding in there, and the Democrats don't want that because that's going to screw up their ability down the road to get people across that they need for their votes. And it's auto-generated, these things. Common drive of posts they all tap into. Since they misjudged the influence of the mainstream media, they are aggressively looking to censor throughout major platforms in exchange for CIA slush funds and worldwide access for expansion of said networks. Everything they do has been forecasted and prepared for. The white hats know what they're trying to do. They know what they've tried to put in motion to save their ass, and they're prepared for it. Okay. Without illegal votes, Democrats lose. That's the wall thing. Okay. Why do they want to control the black population, intentionally keep them poor and in need? Why do Dems project racism on a daily basis against Republicans? How about anti-Semitism? Projected. How do the Dems cover historical facts about the beginning of the KKK and all that through the Democrats and the CIA? Operation Mockingbird. Okay. So all of this is on here, right? Date posted early, October 31st, 2017, prior to the black population awakening. Yes, far prior to that. How many blacks voted for Trump third time around? They lost the black population. That's why they had to allow all the illegal immigrants in. Why did we emphasize is important? When you are awake, we can see clearly. Okay. This is a repost of this. And Q says, swap we for you on the move. Meaning, when we are awake, we can see clearly. Swap we for you. Okay. Same thing, reposted down at the bottom. We have Q plus. That's President Trump. Okay. Triangle equals 0 minutes. Okay. Delta. The delta, not the triangle. The triangle is Saud, Rothschild, Soros. The delta was 0 minutes between President Trump's tweet and the Q post. That's called a zero delta. Here's another one. Okay. It's called a zero delta. And that's how President Trump was communicating to the Anons way back when, to let them know, yeah, we're in unison. We're in sync. We're working together. Okay. 16 total now. Zero deltas from today in the last zero delta. Q says, thank you, Patriot, for, posting this. Okay. And this was going back to 2019, my friends. All right. 2019. All right. The last four. Are you ready to finish what we started? Nothing can stop what is coming is not just a catchphrase. Are you ready to hold the political elite protected accountable? The political elite. What did Dan Scavino? Dan knows we're going to go to the length of the video. We're going to go to the timestamp, and we're going to think mirror. And they all were gold. Also, on this day, Dan knows we're going to the deltas. So what did he do? He showed us all the political elite: Hakeem Jeffries, Pelosi, Schumer, Obama. Okay. Are you ready to take back control of this country? And then this video is of space shuttle launch audio, play loud. 0 days to launch. So they're basically saying, we're about to launch. Is it today? Why did, President Trump meet with Republican leaders about Venezuela without including the Democrats? Leaks. We've got 2,000 troops within strike range of Venezuela right now. Okay. 2,000 troops within just a short deployment because they're out there on the ship. All right. So again, if Dan and Trump weren't communicating to us all along this whole time, as I have done, I mean, I showed you, I've been doing shows 4 or 5 nights a week for 7 years, guys, with that little break with my family. And I cover it all the time. They've been talking to us the entire time. They've been using the timestamps, the deltas, et cetera, the capital letters that President Trump does all the time. Always takes us to something really significant to what's going on that day. Okay. Very, very important. Very, very important. Okay. Let me get to our wheel spin, and let me just take one last look at everything to see if we have any additional in there. Folks, I might do a show tomorrow night. Partly because I still need to bring in some donations tomorrow, but more importantly, because I've taken the last, I think, 2 or 3 weekends off, and I'm feeling the pull that we need. I'm being honest, by the way, about the money. You know me. It's like I'm not trying to. You know me. I'm just being honest with you. But that's why I mentioned that, is because if I could easily say, oh, because the things are so heated, I got to come live. Well, that's part of the reason. Okay. All right. Tomorrow, the SNAP benefits. So how are people going to react? We don't know. How are the funded people? Like, how many people are now, texting Soros saying, hey, man, I'm available. I need to make some money. Okay, we're going to put you in, in Minnesota. We're going to put you in Michigan. We're going to, we're going to activate you for this protest against the SNAP benefits being cut off, et cetera, et cetera. So tomorrow night could be very interesting. We may have some serious stories, and their flights are being grounded. Charger lady, thank you. Because of the air traffic controllers are not getting paid. So it's going to be very interesting tomorrow night. There was an incident at Ronald Reagan Airport last night. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. And Monday is 11/3. 11/3 start, JL Bear. Right? Okay. It's great catch. Great catch. So this is so tomorrow night might be very, very, very interesting. Okay. Okay. I got Heather. Let me check out this one. and I'll check out Give, Send, Go, and then we'll call it a night together. Elaine Steiger came in under the wire. Thank you so much, Elaine and Steve. I appreciate you very, very much. There we go. Got that in, and let me go to the Give, Send, Go. Here we go, my friends. What a time to be alive. I am saying Skibo got in. Okay, Skibo. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. There we go. And an anonymous giver a day ago. Thank you very much for that. And I got to check one more spot here. It's crazy how it's all spread out, and how many things I've got to check, and okay, so that's good. That's it. Okay. All right, my friends, let's go to the wheel. And the wheel of names. There's the Sned head right there. Okay. Are we ready? 1 year, $170 value to Sned heads. Thank you for those of you who have donated. They've all been placed with people that cannot afford Sned heads right now. If you can afford snedheads.com, folks, please support that platform. I control it. It's private. Any information you put in, you're basically giving me your phone number. Nobody's gotten calls. Nobody's gotten emails. Nobody's getting AI tracking them. Nobody's got their positions, their locations tracked. We're not listening to you. We're not watching you. And that is what Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, X, they all do that. TikTok, they all know exactly where you're at, when you're at it, if you have your phone on. Hold on one sec. Yes, hello. Can you hear me? Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. All right. Moonbeam, let me know that I need to get the spinner up there. Thank you. Okay. So, at any rate, so a year of that, and it's if you pay for 100 for the whole year, you get 2 months free. It's $170, 17, our favorite number, and a free T-shirt. That's what we're spinning for right now. Here we go. We'll wait till it gets right here. Round and round it goes. Where it ends up, nobody knows. Here we go. Dina, Dolores, Catherine. Is it stay on Catherine, or does it go to Patsy Abbott? All right. Congratulations, Patsy. That is awesome. You get a free year subscription to Snedheads and a lovely T-shirt. So, and folks, if you want to get your T-shirts, get your hat, get your mug, you can get it right here. That, as you know, also supports my work. Congratulations, Patsy. Folks, I hope you had a good night here. And I know I did. I'm grateful for your presence. I'm grateful for your donations, for all those who got on the wheel. Thank you for stepping up and supporting independent work like mine. And yeah, you're keeping the lights on. So thank you for those of you who are doing it. And we will. I will see you tomorrow night, 8 Central Daylight Time. And I guess we're turning the clocks. We're falling back this weekend on Sunday morning. So, all right, my friends, be well. Much love to you. Thanks for joining me, and good night.